Seneca's Letters from a Stoic serves as a profound guide to living a life of wisdom, resilience, and virtue, written as personal letters but carrying universal lessons that apply just as much today as they did in ancient Rome. The book is structured as a series of moral instructions and philosophical explorations, in which Seneca advises his younger friend, Lucilius, on everything from managing emotions, handling adversity, wealth, success, friendships, and mortality, all through the lens of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that emphasizes self-control, rational thinking, and acceptance of fate. Throughout his letters, Seneca repeatedly reminds Lucilius that the biggest battle is within our own minds. External circumstances may be beyond our control, but how we react to them determines our true strength. He starts by warning against the illusion of wealth and material possessions, arguing that true happiness is not found in luxury, but in self-sufficiency. A person who relies on external riches will always be poor, while one who learns to desire less and cultivate inner peace will always be wealthy, regardless of how much money they have. He advises Lucilius to practice voluntary hardship, such as sleeping on the floor or eating plain food, not to live in misery but to train the mind to detach from luxury and be ready for adversity. After all, if we are prepared to lose everything, then nothing can truly shake us. Seneca also speaks on time, perhaps the most precious resource we have, yet the one we waste most carelessly. He warns that people will guard their money but give away their time without a second thought, and so he encourages Lucilius to be intentional about how he spends his days, focusing on personal growth, deep learning, and meaningful connections rather than fleeting pleasures. A key theme throughout the letters is the idea of control, what is within our power versus what is not. Seneca echoes the core Stoic belief that we must accept whatever happens in life with grace and resilience because fighting against fate is as foolish as trying to stop the wind with your hands. Instead, wisdom lies in aligning ourselves with the natural flow of the universe, learning to adapt and make the best of whatever circumstances we face. When it comes to emotions, Seneca warns about the dangers of uncontrolled anger, grief, and fear, explaining that it is not external events that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. If we train our minds to see obstacles as challenges, losses as lessons, and hardships as opportunities for growth, we become truly unbreakable. He also explores friendship, saying that a true friend is one who values virtue over personal gain, and encourages Lucilius to choose his companions wisely, for the people we surround ourselves with shape our character and mindset. When discussing death, Seneca takes a radically different stance from what most people fear. He argues that death is not something to be dreaded but embraced as a natural part of life. Instead of fearing the end, we should strive to live each day as if it were our last, making the most of our time and ensuring that whenever our final moment comes, we leave without regret. Seneca also touches on ambition and success, reminding Lucilius that power, fame, and fortune are fleeting and often bring more misery than joy. He uses the example of emperors and wealthy rulers who, despite their immense power, lived in constant fear, paranoia, and dissatisfaction, proving that external success is meaningless without inner peace. He advises that if one is to pursue success, it should be done not for external validation, but as a means to practice virtue and make a positive impact on the world. The theme of resilience is central to his teachings. He urges Lucilius to embrace hardship, welcome discomfort, and use adversity as a training ground for his character. He reminds him that greatness is forged in the fire of struggle, and the strongest individuals are those who turn their pain into wisdom and their obstacles into stepping stones. Another critical lesson from the letters is the importance of philosophy itself. Seneca believes that studying philosophy is the key to living a meaningful life, as it provides the tools needed to handle suffering, navigate relationships, and understand our place in the universe. But he warns against being a philosopher in words only. True wisdom is not in how much knowledge one has, but in how well one applies it in daily life. In one letter, he criticizes those who chase endless books and theories but fail to practice even the simplest virtues, saying that philosophy should be lived, not just studied. He also addresses the traps of pleasure and indulgence, arguing that the pursuit of short-term gratification leads to long-term suffering, whereas self-discipline and moderation lead to true freedom. A person ruled by their desires is a slave to pleasure, constantly chasing the next high, while a person who learns to master their impulses experiences a deeper and more lasting contentment. One of the most striking parts of the letters is Seneca's discussion on fear and worry. He points out that most of the things we fear never actually happen, and even when they do, they are rarely as terrible as we imagine. He advises Lucilius to stop wasting energy on imaginary problems and instead focus on strengthening his mind so that no matter what comes, he can handle it with grace. As the letters progress, Seneca's tone becomes even more urgent, as if he knows his own time is running out. He urges Lucilius to seize the present moment, not postponing happiness for some future achievement, but learning to find joy in the simple act of being alive. He reminds him that life is unpredictable, and the future is uncertain, so the only rational approach is to live fully right now, cultivating wisdom, gratitude, and virtue each day. Towards the end of the book, Seneca also reflects on his own mortality, accepting his fate with a calm and fearless mind. His final lessons serve as a reminder that while we cannot control how long we live, we can control how well we live, and in the end, it is not the years in our life that matter, but the life in our years. Through his letters from a Stoic, Seneca offers a timeless blueprint for a life of purpose, strength, and peace, one that remains just as relevant in today's world of distractions, anxiety, and uncertainty. His words remind us that the key to happiness lies not in external circumstances, but in mastering our own minds, and that the only true wealth, success, and freedom come from within.